What's going on, guys? My name's Josh and I'm back today with another Scream 5 video. Before we get started, if you could please hit that subscribe button and please like this video. Now you better watch out because it's time to get this video started. Let's go. So the original Scream cast just reunited for a virtual event yesterday. Actually, it was so sad because I didn't get the chance to watch the event. I had work at the same time, so I didn't watch it. I was really kind of debating if I should cover this or not, because for me, I like to cover something that I actually see for myself. I don't really like covering something I didn't necessarily see. But I did get read a couple articles on there, so there's a few things I did want to share. First thing I want to go over is Twitter is a great resource as far as you can find a lot of great interviews on Twitter, at least links to interviews or links to video clips as well. So I feel like there's a lot of good, Scream 5 news on Twitter. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of false information that can be spread on Twitter. So you gotta kind of take everything with a grain of salt. So I kind of want to go over one thing from this Scream event that I could feel like could be easily misinterpreted. So one thing, if you go on Twitter, there's pretty much, people are saying, that Kevin Williamson said that there's going to be no deconstruction. I'll give you the exact quote. He said, "No deconstruction, no self-awareness in Scream 5. That's the take that the new movie's going to take as far as Scream 5 goes. And that's something to me that was taken out of context and not necessarily meant the way he said it. So I went on, because I wanted to see the exact, where this quote came from. And according to sci-fi.com, who kind of covered some of the questions or some of those topics in the event, Jamie Kennedy pretty much said that he often gets asked, what are the new rules for a modern horror day film? And that's when Kevin Williamson, responded and said the modern day horror rule films should be, no deconstruction, no self-awareness, just do the opposite of what we did. So just hearing that, I don't think Kevin Williamson was saying so that Scream 5 is going to have no deconstruction or no self-awareness at all. I think they were talking about something completely different about modern day horror films. But the way horror film rules, but the way you would take that on Twitter is, oh no, Scream 5 is going to have no self-awareness. So that's kind of where I'm saying you got to take everything with a grain of salt. You don't know the full context. If you get the full context, then that's a little different, but just hearing like a little thing on Twitter, you can kind of see where something can be spread that's not necessarily true. Now to go on to what else he said about this is, he says, "I do worry that the franchise kind of wears itself out with all the meta and deconstruction, and there's only so many times you can do this. So many people have since done this with horror films like it, or in vain of it. So you kind of worry that it's run its course. What I like about the new Scream film is that it takes a fresh approach. It's this beautiful sort of fresh new movie, but also has that nostalgia factor that runs through it. That to me was a perfect blend of how to do the next Scream. So that was what I was most excited about it." He also adds that, "I'm blown away by the directors, and I was really nervous because nobody is Wes Craven. I was really, really hesitant to jump on board and be a part of it, and boy, I'm glad I am because I think it's going to make Wes proud." So, just reading the full context of that interview, I don't think he's necessarily saying that, Scream 5 is going to it's not going to be self-aware and there's going to be no deconstruction at all. It sounds to me like maybe it'll have a blend of, the old movies with a new approach. But that's why my whole point of all this is take everything you see online, especially on Twitter, with a grain of salt until you get the full context. Because I don't think he was saying that, Scream 5 is not going to have, no self-awareness and no deconstruction. So that was one thing I want to clarify from that event. Another thing that did come up as well was, I think there was a fan who had a meet and greet with Neve Campbell, kind of one of the one-on-ones, and she did say she's done with filming for, Scream 5. And as far as I know, Scream 5 is set to filming's going to be done as of this month. I believe as of this week, filming's done. So Neve Campbell, I think, filmed for about 3 weeks. As far as that goes, I wouldn't be worried about it. I know, you know, a lot of fans are speculating, will she die? I'm hoping, you know, being a Sydney fan, I am hoping she lives, but it's not going to be the end of the world if, you know, she's filming for a short amount of time. Because I think you got to look at this movie as this movie, the new Scream movie, is about a new cast. So it's really about a new storyline surrounding a new cast. And I'm so happy and grateful that, you know, Neve Campbell, David Arquette, Courtney Cox are coming back for the new Scream movie. But this movie ultimately is not about them. It's about this new cast. And I think, really, they brought the originals back for the fans. They brought them back for us, but I think whether the original cast came back or not, the movie was still going to happen. And it was going to be about a new cast. So I'm just grateful that, you know, they're coming back. And really, you see this with so many other horror movies, or just so many other franchises, that you see a complete reboot. They could have completely rebooted Scream, and it could be the original Scream, just a complete reboot. And that didn't happen with this. You know, the original actors are coming back as their characters, so I'm just happy that, you know, they're going to be in the new movie, even if it's going to be a limited role. For me, I'm hoping, you know, we get some cool Sydney scenes. I do hope she lives, and I hope it just gives some closure for the character. And then I really think about, with the originals returning, I think it's more about, you know, them coming back to pass the baton on to the new cast, and really for the new cast to take the franchise to the future. You know, while I love Sydney, I feel like we've seen, not even just Sydney, all three of the characters, we've seen Ghostface try to kill them now for 4 movies. I don't necessarily need to see Ghostface, you know, try to kill them for 3 more movies. Like, I feel like we've seen these characters, their journey. I don't need to see Sydney be killed, you know, for 3 more movies. I'm just hoping, you know, she comes back in this one. Like I said, she gets some cool scenes, and, you know, she passes the baton on to the new final girl, and we get some closure with the character. Like I said, I hope she lives. And yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. I know other people are not going to agree on there. I'm sure other people would want Sydney to be in all of them. I just don't really know how you would do that to keep having her come back and have it make sense. I just feel like the characters have been through enough, and we kind of just need to let the character, let her live her life now. Sydney needs to go do her own thing, and just be happy. That's kind of my opinion. But what are your guys' thoughts on all of this? As far as the Scream event, did you watch it? What were your thoughts on there? What are your thoughts on Kevin Williamson, where he was talking about his idea of the modern take of horror movie rules? What do you think about that? And just leave your comments below, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching.